Hello, stab victims and stinky boys. My name is TV Skyn, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where a stinky boy by the name of Estinian has just made a stab victim out of a dragon, which is very unkind of him, and we're probably going to have to deal with that at some point or another before he scuppers all our plans for peace and stuff like that. So, let's see what this guy...
Ah, Master Ulfin, it's well you're here. You're wanted within. I believe Master Alphinaud wishes a word with you. The Scions will find a way. I just know we will. Ah, Brick, there you are. Have your moment. There's something I would fain discuss. I must ask you to recall the events which unfolded at the peace conference, though I dare say you would sooner forget them. My mind
okay, so this is the recap part of the patch where they tell us what happened last patch, in case you forgot.
My mind returns again and again to when Nidhogg appeared before the crowd in the guise of Estinian. It was a sight to chill the soul, but one which gave me reason to hope that our friend might not be beyond salvation. When you described his fateful transformation at Azizla, I feared him lost forever. But the mere fact that some semblance of his former self endures must surely count for something. Alas, I have no evidence to support this impression. Thus did I turn to Y'shtola and Kryl for a more empirical appraisal, and full glad am I that I did, for it would seem they have some observations of their own to share. The ladies have saved us a table at the Forgotten Night. Shall we go? Excellent. Let us not keep our honored colleagues waiting.
Ooh. It's like a white mage jester outfit kind of thing. Sylvain Vortifort. Nice. Nice name, actually. That's actually a really good name. Oh, I like that. Like with the white and gray and then the red for accents? A little bit of gold? Yeah, that's pretty good. Like, that's unique. That catches the eye.
The name does this establishment a disservice. Remarkably few of its patrons seem inclined to drink their way to oblivion. I do begin to see why Totaru chose to work here.
We have kept you waiting over long, I fear.
Not to worry, Alphinaud. We had some rather fine mulled wine to keep us company. Truth be told, you could have delayed your arrival a few moments more.
I like her. She's fun.
Gibrion got the spicing just right this time. His latest batch is not only delicious and warming, but soothing to the humors.
Indeed. But 'twas not to soothe our humors that we gathered here.
Ah, no, quite right. The matter of that poor dragoon.
You have discovered something. A means to save him?
Let us not jump to conclusions, shall we? Assess the facts presented, then make an educated analysis, as you were taught.
Pray, cast your mind back to the moment of Estinian's transformation. Do you recall how you described it to us? You spoke of the sudden pangs which racked his body when he took up both of Nidhogg's eyes, and of how his form was twisted thereafter into a shadowy semblance of the Great Worm.
When he appeared at Vulcan's Nest, the worm's eyes were fused to his mail.
Would that only his armor had been corrupted. Snaking forth from the eyes, I descried dark tendrils which entangled his very being. His ether has been all but smothered.
Then he is lost to us forever?
What did I just say about jumping to conclusions? Y'shtola clearly stated all but smothered. As I later discovered, her impression matched my own. Though Nidhogg's presence filled my mind's eye, beneath his seething aura, I sensed the merest hint of something else. And after listening to Y'shtola's observations, I became more certain of my suspicion that the something else I had sensed was, in fact, the trace of a different will, submerged in the sea of Nidhogg's rage.
You mean?
Yes, 'tis like that Estinian spirit yet lingers.
Can we not wrest him from Nidhogg's grasp then? Tear the eyes from the armor?
We know not if that would serve to separate Worm's soul from man's. None have ever attempted such a feat.
Should it offer even the faintest hope of success, then by the gods, I shall be the first to try.
Alphino. By all means, hold fast to your hope, but be mindful of the dangers. Even should you succeed in excising the eyes from the Dragoon's mail, we have no way of knowing if your friend's soul would survive so violent a separation. And that is to say nothing of the possibility that his would-be savior might become Nidhogg's next host.
But what other choice remains to us? Should the opportunity present itself, I will tear those foul orbs from Estinian's armor and trust in the resilience of his soul, even at the risk of mine own.
Ah, I found you at last.
It's the boy!
A messenger of the Temple Knights came to the manor some few hours past. The Lord Commander humbly requests the company of the Warrior of Light and Master Alphino.
Sir Emmerich would speak with us. Very well, thank you, Anawa.
'Twould seem duty calls. Pray see to yours, and we shall return to ours.
Thank you, Y'shtola, Kryl. Your words have given me hope where there was none. Come then. Sir Emmerich awaits.
I feel like Kryl as a character is really a testament to... Oh, she's gonna say something.
Alphino is allowing his feelings for this Dragoon to cloud his thoughts. I worry he may do something rash. Keep an eye on him, would you?
Like, she's a testament to how much voice acting can influence the perception of a character. Like, because imagine if she had had... Oh, hey, Midgardsorm, are you gonna be snarky again?
They think more of their friends' deliverance than their foes' defeat. But will history commend their fealty or condemn their folly?
Yeah, you're cryptic and weird, I get it. It's like, imagine if Kryl had been voiced in, like, sort of a... Like, if she'd been voiced in that sort of very high-pitched, childish, sort of anime girl voice.
Falcon's Nest was to be a celebration of the reconciliation twixt man and dragon. But the lingering shade of Nidhogg, clad in the flesh of the Azure Dragoon, did mark the occasion by spilling the blood of his own kind. A timely atrocity to remind the children of Ishgard that the Dragonsong War was far from over. And when fear gave way to fury, the call to arms rang out anew. Death to Nidhogg. Death to Nidhogg.
Those icicles are such a fucking hazard, by the way. Like, imagine one of those falling on someone. Jesus. But that is the thing, like, Kryl reads, like, even though she wears a rather silly outfit, right? Like, because she has this voice, this particular delivery, and this particular affect with which she speaks, she does come across as like a mature, like even though she has the proportions of a child, essentially, she comes across very much as the adult in the room pretty much all the time. Especially, like, even compared to Alphina, who's like twice her height, and yet more of a bitty bitty baby boy child. Oh, hello. But yeah, I saw someone in chat saying that, like, yeah, Hraesvelgr, I don't know if you're still here, but yeah, I was just looking at your glam. I just thought it looked cool. I get distracted easily. It happens.
What news has Sir Emmerich to share with us, I wonder?
That reminds me, I never got to look at the stuff that was in this chest. Augmented Hellfire Gauntlets of Fending. Let's see. What do we have here? Oh, that's a little slutty. I kind of like that. Not necessarily for my... What I don't like, though, I don't like those. Could do without those. Like, they probably work on, like, a character that stands more upright, but Hrothgar slump. And that makes them point straight upwards, and that's just not... that doesn't really work. It's not like I have any better gear at this point. Nah.
Might Sir Emmerich perchance have received word of a Dravanian advance? Or mayhap they have located that is to say, mayhap Nilhogg has been found. Come, I would hear what the Lord Commander has to say.
What was it that Kryl just told you like twice about jumping to conclusions, Alphino?
My friends, I thank you for coming.
You have had news of Nidhogg?
Alas not. Our scouts range far and wide, but they have as yet found no trace of the Great Worm.
We dispatched an elite unit of dragoons to reconnoiter the churning mists, but even they returned empty-handed.
A pity.
Fear not, Alphino. We shall see the worm again soon enough. His words at Falcon's Nest attest to that. Indeed, he is like to come sooner than we would wish.
I assume Ishgard's defenses are being bolstered as we speak?
With all haste. I mean to call upon every able-bodied warrior at our disposal, from the Knights of the Four Houses to the men and women of the Watch. But I did not summon you to discuss strategy.
What then would you have of us, my lord?
I will speak plain. Now that Nidhogg is possessed of both of his eyes, no mortal force we can muster will repel him. That being the case, we must needs recruit an ally of equal strength.
Ah, if only we could think of someone.
You speak of Hraesvelgr?
I do. To whom else could we turn?
Well, Hraesvelgr has given up half of his strength, so...
That he is Nidhogg's equal, I do not deny. Nor can I name another. But convincing the reclusive creature to do battle with his own brood brother will be... How shall I put this?
It will be no small undertaking, yes. Estinian's report was most particular about Hraesvelgr's unwillingness.
Oh, right, we gave him the other
to
eye.
himself
That's
in
true.
the affairs of men. But much has changed since your visit to Somal. And if there is even a chance that the dragon may be swayed, I must plead our case. Whatever price the dragon asks of me, I shall pay it. Such was my oath, to defend the people of Ishgard. Come what may, my friends, the battle with Nidhogg will mark the end of my tenure as the acting head of church and state. Will you help me discharge this final duty?
We will, my lord. Though I fear our involvement offers no guarantee of success. Come then. We will depart at your leisure.
Thank you. Both of you. The city is yours, First Commander.
My lord, we shall pray for your swift return.
So, are we going to repeat the road trip, or do we just teleport straight there?
I somehow doubt that Hraesvelgr will be pleased to see us.
The Hraesvelgr.
But for Estinian's sake, and that of countless others, I suppose we must risk his displeasure.
It grieves me to impose upon you in this manner, but you of all people understand the threat we now face.
It is no imposition, Sir Emmerich. To Brick and I, Ishgard is as a second home. After the many battles we fought and the bonds we forged, the plight of your nation has become our own. If there's aught we can do to aid in its salvation, then pray impose all you must.
You are true friends.
Shall we be about our task, then? We have no way of knowing when Nilhog's shade will strike, but we must assume that time is not our ally.
Indeed, with that in mind, I've taken the liberty of dispatching a messenger to inform Mistress Tataru that you will be escorting me to Somal. I confess, I did not provide the exact details of our destination, as they are as yet unknown to me.
We will summon Hraesvelgr at the zenith in the churning mists. Ere we begin our ascent, however, I think it best that we pay a visit to Annick's shrine.
You seek an advantage in the coming negotiations.
I do. I would consult with Vidofnir. I propose that this in part out of concern for her condition. Were she to succumb to her wounds, it will have grave consequences for our alliance. That apart, she may be able to provide insight into her sire's current state of mind.
Well reasoned. To the Dravanian Forelands, then. Straight to Annick's shrine. Okay. So I see people are talking about timelines in the chat. And yeah, like I'm inclined to agree, like, a timeline is only important insofar as it matters to the story, right? Like, insofar as it causes some alteration to the theme or the contents of the narrative. Otherwise, like, time should really be treated as a very sliding scale, I think. That's how Marvel does it, for example. Like, what they've been doing for a very long time now is they've been operating with a sliding scale of Marvel time, where pretty much everything that happened in people's origin stories, it happened sort of vaguely within the last 10 years, right? Like, so when was Captain America unfrozen? Like 10-ish years ago. When did Tony Stark build his first Iron Man suit? Sometimes like 10 years, like always. And that just kind of moves along with the timeline moving forward otherwise. And that's like a reasonably useful approach, because otherwise you would start to sort of have trouble with, like, okay, so Captain America was frozen during World War II. He woke up in like the 1960s, and now he should be like closing in on 60 years old, right? Like he should be getting quite old now, but he's still young Steve Rogers, right? Like it sort of solves a bunch of problems. Yeah, Tony's origin story has been attributed to 5 different wars or more. Yeah, like it once upon a time it was Vietnam, you know. Ah, 'tis the warrior of warriors and his companions. What bringeth thou to mine abode?
Pray forgive us for disturbing your recuperation, Vidofnir. I hope your wound does not pain you overmuch.
Didst thou imagine me close to death? The thrust was deep, but not mortal. I will heal in time. I've heard that many times before. Full glad am I to hear it. You were the guest of honor at our conference, and we failed in our duty of protection. On behalf of Ishgard, I apologize unreservedly. I am a dragon full grown, and thou thought to protect me?
Mortal, I was tempered by the fires of battle ere thy great-grandsire learnt to crawl. Thy words do remind me of a knight whom I called friend some 1,000 years past. He swore to defend me from harm and hardship. Would that we could return to that era of peace when man and dragon knew such comradeship. Would that our every effort to do so were not undone by ancient rancor. Well, it's not ancient to Nilhogg. For a truth there can be no peace while Nilhogg's shade yet lingereth. That much is plain, yet we lack the strength to banish him. Thus do we make for Somal, to beseech the aid of your sire once more. Folly. Thou knowest well as I how he will answer. Hraesvelgr's heart remains unchanged then. A pity, but if it is folly to hope, I am content to die a fool. As hath ever been the way with thy kind. Go then, but be warned. The Shade's presence hath driven its minions to frenzy. Thank you, Withafnir. We shall disturb your rest no longer. I say good you have talked to the dragon. Would you like an apple strudel? Maybe with some spiced cider, yeah.
Sometimes the rewards you're given.
Lucia's report described Anix-Trine in detail, but her words failed to convey the overwhelming strangeness of standing here in the domain of dragons.
Oh, I see there's a party going on. Whee! You spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, round, 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 round. You spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, when you go down.
Though I expected no better answer from Vidafnir, I take little pleasure from having been proven right. 'Twould seem that our presence at the Zenith will be every bit as unwelcome as I had anticipated. But what is the ire of one great worm to a trio of self-confessed fools such as ourselves? Let us begin our ascent. After you, Master Alphinaud. Scout ahead if you wish, Brick. We shall join you outside Markholm. The Lord Commander seems lost for words, nor can I blame him. I recall being similarly awestruck when I first beheld this vista.
I mean, yeah, it's a little pretty. I just wish there was more variation in the texturing, you know? Like, that's one of the weaknesses and one of the things that where you can really kind of see the PS3 legacy of this game is... like when you're dealing with the LOD at distance and the way that it sort of crunches texture and the way that textures are very uniformly applied, like that bit of rock over there, for example, just like a completely flat bit of rock. There's nothing on it. There's no snow. There's no grass. There's no anything to sort of break it up. And that's something you can kind of see in the way that these maps are designed. It's also just because of like obviously designing these huge maps and like doing custom texture mapping for every little bit of cliff and shit. That's a huge amount of work and might not necessarily be worth it because how many people are going to give a shit if this cliff is textured? Me, I'm going to do it because I'm that weirdo, but you know, the general player base, probably not that important next to the importance of creating more areas or spending more time decorating the parts of the map where the players will be spending time.
I'd heard tales of the worlds above the clouds, but never did I dream one's mind paints a pale picture of its majesty.
Few live to see such wonders. I'm reminded of our first visit to this peak when Estinian Ysael yet walked at our sides.
Is that you, Brick?
Ah, if it isn't Don't
tell me you've forgotten my name, Mog. After all we've been through together. But at least you remember me. You do remember me, don't you, Brick?
All Mughals look the same to... Yeah, let's be racist. Shit, Oh, it's a 50-50. Just gonna take a shot.
How could you mistake me for that overstuffed throne warmer? I'm Mugan, the courageous Mughal who guided you to Zenith, Kabul. But putting our shared history to one side, what brings you and your friends to Malcolm, Kabul?
Oops.
Another audience with old Hraesvelgr. Well, I hope you brought the horn, Kabul. With the winds as gentle as they are, a good loud toot should reach the great worm's ears easily enough.
Ah, that's good to hear, Morgan. Thank you. We'd best press on to Zenith while the winds are still in our favor.
Now, that was unexpected. Well, Chieftain Mocklin will want to hear about this.
I gave them silly voices, but did not make them high-pitched. I mean, yeah. It's because I thought it would be funny to give them all Mickey Mouse voices. Just because.
Yeah. Say, fellas, did someone mention the door to darkness?
I get called once in a century, and this is the 4th time this week with you guys. Yeah. Poor Hraesvelgr. Like, for him, it must be like we're spam calling him.
We must win Hraesvelgr for our cause. Failing this, and Ishgard's fate is all but sealed.
Pray sound the horn, Brick. Yeah, play Megalovania. Yeah. Bop bop bop. Ba 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 ba.
You dare summon me again, mortals.
Great Hraesvelgr, 'tis not lightly that we beg this audience. Pray hearken to our words, for they concern the future of man and dragon both.
Oh, thank you for that subscription, Dark Man.
Greetings, Hraesvelgr. I am Emmerich de Burrell, acting ruler of the nation of Ishgard. I am come before you to parley on behalf of my people.
To parley. Thinkest thou thy purpose unclear to me? Thou art come to beg mine aid in the battle against the shade of my blood brother.
He's not stupid, you know.
For saw mine intent.
Benefits of a long life.
But I read that which is writ plain in thy eyes. Would that thou had wit enough to scry the answer in mine. My beloved Shiva did once build a bridge twixt man and dragon, a bridge which thy treacherous forefathers saw fit to tear down, as thou well knowest. Thinkest thou Nidhogg was alone, despairing at the murder of our brood sister? Thinkest thou mine own soul did not cry out for vengeance? Know then that upon that accursed day, my heart did wither in my breast, and thy kind became unto me the harbingers of despair. 'Tis only Shiva's gentle dream that preventeth me from flying at Nidhogg's shoulder. Be grateful that I swore to abjure aggression ere I consumed her. I permit my children to offer or deny thee aid as they see fit, to warn thy people of my brood brother's coming, that thou wouldst dare ask more of me, but affirmeth thine incurable arrogance.
We understand that in your despair at man's betrayal, you seek only the refuge of solitude. But despite your protestations of spent faith, do you not still nurture the smallest flame of hope?
Perceivest thou such light in the dusk of mine existence?
I do. If you claim I see falsely, then tell me, why did you consent to bear Hraesvelgr upon your back?
Hraesvelgr, piteous, deluded Hraesvelgr. The child did lament her past sins, and sought to balance the scales with her remaining days. 'Twas her unquenchable passion, so alike to that of my beloved, which did spur me into flight. And for mine own part, I would countenance no longer the hands of evil men to use my brood brother's eye for ill.
So you do distinguish between those who acknowledge and repent their sins and those who perpetuate them. Interesting.
Alphino, did you have to say that in the same way as that guy who's like in the comic, like, we should improve society somewhat, and yet you participate in society? Interesting. Like, what an Elon Musk-ass way of saying that. Dude!
It seems to me that you have not, in fact, lost faith in mankind as a whole. Rather, you weigh our respective merits by how we allow the past to influence our future.
Spare me thine idle sophistry. Even were there a mote of truth in thy reasoning, what of it? Wouldst thou have me slay mine own sibling to save a city of mortals?
Should we suffer ties of blood to bind our hands, then? Nay, if the crime is one of unconscionable evil, we must needs condemn it, even should the transgressor be our closest kin. When my father corrupted himself and his followers with the power of a primal, I beseeched the Warrior of Light to slay him, an act alike to patricide.
No, just exactly patricide. You asked me to kill him for you.
That he did not die by my hand matters little. If anything, it heaps greater disgrace upon my name. But had my father not fallen, he would have drawn countless thousands into a holy war of hellish proportions, which I hold the greater crime. Thus did I order his execution, sparing the lives of my people and yours. Alas, your brother Worm now prepares to murder those whom I sought to spare. What is more, he has taken my comrade's body for his own. But if I must slay my dearest friend to defeat my direst foe, I will not flinch from my duty.
Thou wouldst strike down thy friend, and by example of thy righteousness, persuade me to break mine oath and kill my kindred.
Oh, hey, Dad's here.
Heed me, my child. The servants of Hydaelyn envision a different outcome. They intend salvation not only for Ishgard, but for the doomed Dragon Slayer as well. Believest thou the shade to be Nidhogg returned? Is it not merely a manifestation of his vengeance, the shadow cast by thy brood brother's rage? I would not command thee, but ponder well thy course, lest it lead thee unto greater remorse.
I think this is more honest.
Thou wishes to rescue the dragoon from his fate, along with all the rest. I do begin to see why Ysayle entrusted her hope unto thee. Thy purpose is pure, but so too is my brood brother's wrath, and 'tis that which lendeth him his all-surpassing might. Hast thou the strength of will to stand against so terrible a shadow, I wonder? 'Twould seem I must put thee and thy companions to the proof. I shall await thee in the ruins wherein Ratatoska once dwelled. Heed well the words of my children, and hasten thee to the place of thy trial.
That's because, yeah, brood brothers, because dragon nests are collective, they don't know who laid the actual eggs. Well, they do know, like, Hraesvelgr and Nidhogg do know who their dad is. Because I believe, as I recall, Midgardsormr was the first dragon. So it was pretty easy to trace lineage there.
Another day, another trial. Such ordeals must seem almost mundane to you by now. Would that I could say the same.
I believe I spied a wyvern landing just outside the palace. It is doubtless one of the children of whom Hraesvelgr spoke. Come, my friends, let us not keep our escort waiting.
Midgardsormr grabbed some random eggs which he brought here. Yeah, just like went to the grocery store.
For the sake of Ishgard, I shall overcome whatever trial is placed before me, and I have no doubt that you will do the same, Brick.
My broodmaids and I will bear you to the place of your trial. Make your preparations.
Sorkai. Ooh. Oh, that music goes. Huh. Cloud gardeners. Hello. I guess we need to break you in half. Ooh, quite pretty, this. Oh, very pretty, that one. It's like the figurehead on a ship's prow, but like with a fan on the back. That's a classic Final Fantasy ass character design. That's fully something you would encounter as a sprite in Final Fantasy VI or something. Well, more Final Fantasy IV, maybe. Yeah, probably a little bit more like the style of 4. Wait, is that a... Moglin, what the hell? Dude! You and the ridiculous name won't make it past me. Okay, dude, what the hell? Huh. Birds. I thought they would hatch a little bit bigger than that. I was a little worried. It's like, oh shit, something big and bad is gonna come out of that. Nope, just chickens. But, oh, Mom isn't too pleased. Ah, there we go. They're the most dangerous enemy in the dungeon. The chickens? Really? Nidhogg will spare thee no clemency, and neither must I. Oh, has it changed? Someone says it's just an arena now. I guess it was different once upon a time? Sorry about dying. Aerith must die. Yeah, it happens. You had to hop between a load of different towers. Oh, well, that sounds kind of tedious. But that explains why it's called Shattered Remembrance. Not so shattered anymore, I guess. Oh, opening with a tank buster. Fair enough. Let's see. Where does that strike? Everywhere except... Oh, on that side. Okay. Yeesh. Oh, multiple, like Milgo's armor. It's exactly the same attack, actually. Well, like father, like sons, I guess. Yo, sliding. Okay. Ah! Can't get out. You dick. Thy resolve hath withstood my scrutiny. Mayhap there is hope to be found in one such as thee.
Da 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 da!
Thank you very much for the help. And sorry that you guys couldn't come. Originally, Alphino and Emmerich were off fighting Vidofnir and Villafalnir. Ah, I see. Whoops, killed Hraesvelgr. Yeah, it's just we murdered him. Whoopsie doopsie. Guess we'll take his eyes.
Even bereft of an eye, my brood brother was a fearsome foe indeed. But having tasted thy strength full first hand, full well can I imagine how thou didst bring him low. The dread title of Azure Dragoon is no empty appellation. Very well, I shall trust in the seed of man one last time. By thy deed shall the flickering hope that lingereth yet within my heart be kindled anew, or extinguished forever. That you yet stand is ready proof of your determination, mortals. Let us fight as allies, then, and together banish my brood brother's vengeful shade. On my oath, the wrath that once was Nidhogg shall meet its end. This I swear on the memory of my beloved Shiva and on the soul of lost Isael.
Okay, then. Well, we have our boss monster.
Countless times have I fought the minions of Nidhogg, but never did I imagine I would one day face Hraesvelgr himself.
Oh, my poor ribs. That was a painful reminder of a great worm's might.
And had he truly meant us harm, we would not be standing here now. Plainly, his intent was to teach. His onslaught forced me to recall my training about the speed of the dragon, his balance, his blind spots. It was, in short, a very thorough lesson.
Oh, Kaboo! Rick, let me begin by congratulating you on the completion of your trial. For one, with a name more befitting a jester, you fight with the savagery of a rabid demon. You see how my wings are kinked, even my palm aches? After this drubbing, I fear my loyal subjects will have to bear the load of my personal chores for quite some time, Kaboo! Possibly indefinitely. What? But when I told you about Brick's trial, I didn't mean for the rest of us to suffer. That's triple shift for you, Morgan. But trouble! But that's not fair! There's no justice, Capor! No justice at all!
And here we see the violence inherent in the system. Yeah.
Our negotiations proved rather more strenuous than I had anticipated, but the results seem well worth the effort.
The battle was indeed hard won. Thank you, my friends. I would never have earned Hraesvelgr's cooperation had you not seen fit to grant me yours. 'Twas your stalwart heroism that moved the heart of the Great Worm at the last. Any gratitude I can offer is but poor reward for your continued service to Ishgard.
I can think of a couple of things you could do.
'Twould seem our final reckoning with the dread worm is at hand. I only wish we had some inkling as to when he means to strike.
You just had to go unasked, did you?
Oh, God.
The cry heraldeth his coming. Nidhogg's shade has taken wing.
It has begun. We must away to Ishgard.
Children of the land, answer this. Right. So people are saying that this is probably the last point where I could cut before we head into, I guess, cutscene country. Well, in that case, let's take a look at the glams that have been redeemed so far and see if we can't find something nice to talk about. No, there you are. I think. Clea. Oh, that's a nice, little... That's a nice little sort of casual like, the bag is good. The bag with the quill and the little potion strapped to the side. That is very good. That is extreme. But I think the detail I like the most. Like, I like the colors. I like the earth tones. I like the neutrals. Right, like you have like this green, you have like a fairly placid brown, some white, a little bit of that mustard yellow. But the thing I really like is the little belt straps around the legs. They kind of give it that little bit of like that, oh, I'm a fancy lad on my way to school. Like it gives it a little bit of that energy. Like that little bit of that sort of fancy pants, very good lad sort of vibe. But in a good way, like not in an overpowering or silly way, but just like a little bit of that whimsy. And that works really well. Like, I like the earth tones, because like here's one of the things you can get away with when you have mostly like earth tones, when you have mostly like neutral colors that aren't like really bright and really contrasty, you can kind of get away with combining a whole bunch of shit. In a way that you really couldn't if they were more garish or like more saturated. So like you get the yellow, you get the black, you get the green, you get like this maroon red, you get white, you get like dark grays, you get this sort of bluish purplish gray, and it all works because like none of it is so loud that it sort of fights with the rest of it. So I quite like that. Like this really well put together. It looks like nice and casual. It looks like a wanderer, like a scholar who's just going around writing stuff down and who's not out for a fight, right? But still seems like sort of reasonably practically appointed. I quite like that. Yeah, that's really nice. That's a really nice set of color combinations you've got going on there. So let's see. I chose the strife bags with the chest wrap to get the gal's sense of weight and the Mackay fist because it's the only good monk weapon. Let's see. Like, yeah, that's something that makes sense for a monk, actually. Like, specifically a character, like, if you want to do, like, oh, this is a martial artist character, there is a good sense to emphasizing the legs and the feet. Because, like, the fists and the hands are sort of, like, they sort of take care of themselves, especially when you have, like, these glowing weapons on them that sort of draw attention to them. But, like, bringing a bunch of detail down into the legs and the feet can be a good idea. Like, because that can sort of balance the design downwards. Like, generally, when you talk about, like weight and character design, if you put a whole bunch of detail on the bottom, like if you just put a bunch of stuff, regardless of whether that stuff is actually heavy, like it could be a bunch of balloons or whatever, but if you put a bunch of stuff on the bottom of a character, they always look bottom heavy. They always look like sturdy. They always look like they're like have their feet solidly planted on the ground. And so that makes sense to do, for example, for a monk. Like, whereas with a warrior, you might want to emphasize the arms, you might want to emphasize the back, the shoulders, like the top of the body. You might want to make a top-heavy character to sort of emphasize that upper body strength with which you swing around the weapons. For a monk, for someone who's, like, meant to be more athletic and swift on their feet, it can make good sense to emphasize the bottom, which I think you've done here. Quite effectively, both with the strife bottoms and, like, those nice shoes, but also with the belt that you've got going on here, with all the stuff hanging off it, all the ribbons and shit. Like, that also helps, like, pull the design downwards. I also like the contrast that you've chosen, like that you've got black on the bottom and red on the top. Like, from the hair down to the top to everything, you go with red color tones, reds and oranges up here. That makes good sense to me. You could extend that into the tattoos. You could extend that into the veil. Like, you could even go there and, like, pop even more, like, bright saturated color there to sort of really emphasize that dual division. Or if you wanted to, you could add some black accents to the hair, like some like black dark earrings, some kind of headgear, anything, black tattoos to the face. Any of that would also work to sort of balance the design a little bit more, if that's what you're looking for. But I do think you've gone the right way by, like, loading a lot of detail onto the bottom, like loading a lot of, like, heaviness down there, because it makes the kicks look more powerful. It makes it look more looks like it hurt more when you kick someone. So I think you've got a good glam going here. Like, I really quite like it. That's a cool monk. That is a genuinely very cool monk. Let's see. Okay. Strawberry. Okay. No. Yeah, I see what. Okay, yeah. Yep. No, that is correct. Oh, that is femme as fuck. Holy shit. Nicely modded, too. I quite like that. Like that like the sort of the loose sweater thing that you've got going on, because, like, you sort of imply nudity, right? Like, it's a design that very strongly implies, like, that there's nothing underneath. Like, it has that titillation factor, without actually being naked. Like, it's a very different kind of sort of sexualization than just, like, dressing someone in a bikini, right? Like, with the little heart pendant around the neck and the decoration on the tail, that's like a gorgeously coquettish, high femme, like, seductress thing you've got going on. There's something intensely sapphic about it as well. Love the poofy tail. Yeah, no, that's a hot ass lady that you made yourself there. Strawberry Oreo, indeed. But yeah, like, the implied nudity is cool. Like, that is fun, because it's not naked. It isn't. But it teases you with the idea that it could be. I quite like that. I hope I don't get demonetized. Like, please, Twitch mods. It wasn't my idea. That can't be too spicy. Like, they allow bathtub streams. This can't be too spicy. Absolutely not. Lorenzo Trastamara. Well, shit, you even kind of look Italian. I don't know why. Like, but there's something about this that has that sort of, that, like, very specific Renaissance painting Like, combination Renaissance painting and, like, what the fuck's the word I'm looking for? It's not cyber, but it's, technopunk. Sort of vibe. It's a little bit of that Vampire Hunter D shit. Like, specifically because you have an Ellison with the sharp ears and, like, that sharp nose. And, like, pale skin against all of that black. It has a little bit of that Vampire Hunter D vibe going for it. Like, the shoulders are so fucking over the top. Like, they're kind of... I kind of like them because they're a little bit too much, you know? Like, there's a little bit... It is like a very flamboyant set of shoulders. And it's like between the dress pants and, like, those fancy boots and, like, the eye patch and stuff, so much of the character design seems like, oh, this is someone who's, like, serious-minded, like someone who's a little bit broody, maybe a little bit of an edgelord sort of thing. But then the shoulders are just like, woohoo! Like, come the fuck on, let's party! Like, that's just fun, right? Like, I like that. I like we've talked about this many times before with glams and character design, right? That you can create a lot of interest in a character design just by having those internal inconsistencies, right? Like, by having that thing of, like, most of the design is saying one thing, and another, like, one part of the design is saying something that's like that just adds a little bit of contrast and difference to it. Is a really good way to create interest in a character design. And especially in a game because, like, in a game like Final Fantasy XIV, there's a million armor sets you can just wear, right? Like, you can just, like, there's these very well-composed, beautiful 1.5 million outfits that the artists at Square Enix have already made for you. You can just wear one of those, right? And you will look cool. You will look good, but you will also look kind of generic inside the world of Final Fantasy XIV because, well, like, everyone can look like that. Like, that's their normal clothing, right? And so one of the things you can do inside a world like this is to add an incongruous detail, add something that doesn't quite comport itself with some part of the design. Like, over here, the top hat serves that function, right? And the monocle sort of like, oh, okay, that sort of adds a little spot of interest. It's not the only way to create a good character design, but it's one of the ways, and it's one of the ones I really enjoy, because it gives you such an opportunity to be silly without being like, without seeming like you're cartoonish or you're not taking it seriously. And here I feel like the shoulders do that, because so much of the outfit is like, it's like black, it's like dark, it's like mostly like finely appointed, like sort of like embroidery and finery, like you're a very serious nobleman in an ancient country, and then just the shoulders like, yahoo! Like literally flaming, right? Like, it's a little camp. It's just a little bit camp, and I quite like that, because it's not like it makes him look silly, right? It's not like it makes him look like a cartoon character. It just adds a little bit of that spice, right? Like, of that fun. Like, along with that face, right? Like, I like the contrast. It's very cool. Oh shit, the back on this jacket looks amazing. That's a really nice embroidery. Cool. I just have the best extras in my in my Final Fantasy streams. I really do. But if you've enjoyed hanging out in the world of Final Fantasy XIV with me, you can hit the like, comment, and or subscribe buttons down below. That'll let you know when more Final Fantasy XIV is happening. Did I say 15? I probably said 15. You can become a member of the channel, and that will let you know, that will let you see these episodes earlier before everyone else. You can head on over to Twitch and subscribe there, and that'll give you access to the VODs of the streams, including stuff that happens in between. Like, for example, me going away to have a snack. That's exclusive content you can only find on Twitch VODs. Just iCam for 5 to 10 minutes. I'm not doing a great job of selling it, but, you know, nonetheless, thank you very much for watching. Remember to be kind to one another, have solidarity with those who are worse off than yourselves, and may the tides of history wash gently over us all.